Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of My Name is Dad, and I am your host, Brandon Benson. And with me today, he's back in the studio, Mr. Brody Benson.
I'm back.
He's back. He had his week off.
Yes.
And he had some terrible picks.
No, I did not. I got them all right except for one, actually.
All right, well, let's talk about the sponsor, which is Point B Grading and Turf Grass Maintenance, LLC. I provide landscape contracting services, but I specialize in laser grading, so check out the website, pointbgrading@gmail.com, and let's move on. Let's get this episode going, huh?
I specialize in playing football.
Yeah, that's what Brody does. I scored touchdowns.
I had 2 touchdowns last night.
2 touchdowns.
I'm like that.
All right. Let's recap. I believe it's week 5 of college football, and last week we had a bunch of great games. I think one of the biggest ones was the Oregon going into Penn State and winning in the whiteout game, which was a big deal, but Penn State every year, again, comes up short. They just can't seem to win the big game. They can get right there very close, but can never pull off a big win. What do you think, Brody?
I think I should have seen it coming. Didn't we both pick Penn State to win?
I think I did have Penn State to win.
That was my only pick that I got wrong. But I kind of not surprised because Penn State, James Franklin can never win the big games.
Yeah. Before the season started, I actually put a bet on Penn State and Oregon for a national championship win.
Yeah.
I didn't go with Ohio State, so I was like, "Oh wow, this might be one of my national champions. Whoever wins this game." I just thought because the whiteout game, Penn State at home, especially Oregon have to travel all the way there, and they've never done it before. It's something they've only seen on TV. If it was like Ohio State or Michigan, like, oh yeah, they know the whiteout game. It's no big deal to them.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. The crowd was crazy. But yeah, Oregon does come out on top on that one.
I definitely did not have Clemson winning the national championship.
Oh yeah, you did, Brody.
No, I did not.
Yeah. What about any other games that stood out to you, Brody?
Bama, Georgia.
Alabama, Georgia. Yeah, everyone. I like Georgia, especially the way Alabama started the season. They lost to Florida State. I didn't know if they would recover, but they really have. So good on them.
Illinois beat USC, the game-winning field goal.
Oh, yep.
A bounce-back win after getting embarrassed by Indiana.
Illinois did bounce back.
ASU barely beat Baylor at home last week.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really else that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. So taking a look at the top 25, or more specifically the top 10, there are 4 Big Ten schools, 5 SEC schools, and 1 ACC school. And Texas Tech is at number 11, the first Big 12, the highest Big 12 ranked team. Now, the 1 ACC school is Miami. The other Big 10 and SEC schools, that's the normal ones. But, Bertie, do you think there is bias in college football for the Big 10 and the SEC, as they might be considered like the best conferences in the country?
I think a little bit. I think definitely the Big Ten and SEC have more like the like big power power schools.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're like the most like all around like good like every team's like good and stuff.
Yeah.
But I actually do think that that those schools in there kind of deserve it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's that much bias, but definitely if a Big 12 school and an SEC school tied in a game and it was for like to be in like the top 25 and it was a tie, they would definitely go with like the SEC school. So I think there's a little bit of bias, but I don't think it's as crazy as it used to be.
Yeah, I think you're right. So the SEC and the Big Ten, most of them are Eastern time zone.
Yeah.
Where that was always the problem with the Pac-12.
It was always so late for them.
It was always so late. No one in the East Coast would watch those games.
No one.
So they would have to watch the highlights or just see whatever on SportsCenter the next day. So now that, a lot of the Pac-12 schools, or Pac-12 is pretty much gone, a lot of those schools have to travel, out east and to the Midwest and stuff. Now they're playing more in those early time slots when everyone's awake. But those schools, now the schools which they destroyed the Pac-12 conference, now those schools who have to travel all the time are now complaining about traveling. It's not good for the students. That's what everyone said before.
Yeah.
It's not good for the students. And you're going to do a lot more traveling. It's going to be much harder on everybody. And it is. The coaches are already starting to complain about it.
Yes, already. and it's barely week 5.
Yeah, exactly.
They have a long way to go.
All right, let's move on to week 6 of college football. I have some rivalry games that are happening this week. There's not a ton of them, but it's kind of middle of the season, so
Yeah, is there even a game where top 25 teams are playing?
I believe there is one.
There's one.
There is one.
Is it? It's not Miami, Florida State.
Florida State.
It is.
Florida State's ranked number 18, and Miami's number 3. That's the one ACC school.
Virginia upsetted Florida State last week.
Yes.
On Friday.
Okay, the rivalry games. We have the Illinois at Purdue, and they're playing for the Purdue Cannon. We have Air Force at Navy, which this is a so Air Force, Navy, and Army, they all play each other every year, and they play for the Commanders-in-Chief trophy. So if you're Air Force and you beat Navy and Army, then you're going to win the Commander-in-Chief trophy. So that's like a 3-way kind of school rivalry thing.
Military kind of school.
We have Texas Tech at Houston. This is just an in-state rivalry game. South Alabama at Troy. This is the battle for the belt.
Yeah, isn't Troy in Alabama?
I believe Troy is in Alabama, yes.
Yeah.
And then we got number 3, Miami at Florida State. And this is it's one of those 3-team rivalries, Florida State, Miami. Again, whoever has the best record or ends up finishing best out of those 3 schools wins some sort of like Florida Cup or something like that.
Didn't Miami beat Florida? So whoever wins this game.
Yeah. So this is big, but then you're gonna have Florida State at the end of the year.
Yeah. Also, is Texas A&M Mississippi State a rivalry game? Because every year it's played in the Cowboy Stadium, I thought.
Texas A&M Mississippi State, maybe it is.
I think it is because they're always at a neutral site, and
maybe
usually those games are rivalry.
Yeah, okay, I believe you. All right, and then there are a couple other big matchups this week that I wanted to point out. We have Vanderbilt at Alabama. I think they're both top 25 games. Also, Michigan State at Nebraska. They are both 3-1, but unranked. Any other games that you want to point out there, Brody?
Texas, Florida, two good defenses but two bad offenses. The Texas Tech game might be good. I don't know. Baylor, Kansas State, maybe Kansas State.
Yeah.
Upsets.
Yeah. Kansas State's supposed to be good. Their quarterback's been a Heisman Trophy sort of candidate 2 years in a row, but can't win football games, so I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Brody, let's move on to our cover straight dog. And you want me to go first? You want to go first?
I'll go first. I always go first.
All right, Brody, what's your cover pick?
My cover pick is Michigan State plus 11.5 at Nebraska. I have Michigan State.
You always pick against Nebraska.
Yes, I like to make. If Wyatt and them listen, I like to make them mad.
Yeah.
I just don't think Nebraska's that good, and Michigan State's offense is really good. And I don't know if Michigan State's going to win this game, but it's definitely going to be at least, I think, like a 3-point win, or like a 3-point like game, or a 7-point like distance, I guess. So I think it's either going to be a close game, but Michigan State loses, or Michigan State comes out on top, because I think the Nebraska team's overhyped, and Aiden Childs in Michigan State has looked good this year. Their only loss is to USC, whose offense is overpowered and stuff. So I think it's just going to be a close game, and 11.5, it's a little bit too big for me for Nebraska.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I mean, Nebraska, again, they're kind of like Penn State. They just can't always win these big games.
Yeah. They always have like one big game where they win, but then all the rest, they kind of just...
Yeah. So, of course, your Nana is here, my mom is here, and she was wondering if during this spot in the podcast, if I could explain what cover straight dog means again.
She doesn't know?
She said she didn't know.
All
right, so our cover pick is, so when you look at the point spread on the betting slips, like you said, Michigan State was plus 11.5.
Plus 11.5.
So that means that they're the underdog. That they're expected to lose by 11.5 points. Now, if it's negative, so if you look at the Nebraska side, it's going to say negative 11.5. They're expected to win by more than 11.5 points. So they got to win by 12 or more.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's what the cover is. So Brody's saying that Michigan State is 11.5 point dog. So he thinks they're going to at least lose by
less than 11.5.
By 11 points or less.
Or win.
Or win the game outright. So that moves on to that's the straight pick.
Yeah.
The straight pick, we don't look at the point spread. We don't look at the negative plus.
Just
We just pick a winner straight up who we think's going to win. And then the dog pick is they have to be an underdog. They have to have a plus.
They have to be the underdog.
So that's the thing. And I try to pick a team that I think might actually win the game.
That's what I do. I don't look at the cover.
Yeah. So, but I will take a cover in the underdog pick too. So.
All right.
All right. So my cover pick is Texas Tech minus 11.5 at Houston. All right. Texas Tech, they're serious this year, okay? Trust me on this. They're coming off a bye. Houston was on the road, barely squeaked out a win or had a tough game against Oregon State. All right. What did Texas Tech do to Oregon State?
Won by 40 points.
PTA.
Yes.
All right. So Texas Tech coming off the bye. They're going to be a little bit rested.
Yeah.
They're serious. They got their game face on. Okay, they're not going to be rusty. They're going to come out and go. They're going to Houston, but it doesn't matter. They're going to BTA Houston.
Yes. I didn't pick Texas Tech because I can't pick them every week.
Okay.
Kind of boring.
Hey, win's a win, right?
Yeah, I guess.
They're covering spreads. Well, I'll take it. All right, what's the straight pick, Brody?
My straight pick is I have Alabama at home beating Vanderbilt. I don't think Alabama's going to lose 2 years in a row to Vanderbilt. And this Alabama team looks good, and that's what we said last year when they were playing Vanderbilt, but I just don't think that Alabama's going to lose 2 years in a row to Vanderbilt.
So you're saying it's a revenge game for Alabama?
Yes, and last year they were overlooking Vanderbilt, I feel like, and this year they're not going to overlook them, and they're going to be on their A game. And at home at Tuscaloosa, I don't think Alabama's going to lose this game. Yeah,
I remember. Vanderbilt. They are the Alabama killers. It was last year.
Yeah,
when Alabama was like they're gonna lose. It was decided there were some players on the field. They were like, "What are we doing? We're losing to Vanderbilt." They were like,
all the players were mad.
Yeah, you can see them throwing a fit and stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
But the quarterback for Vanderbilt, Diego Pava,
is really good.
Diego Pavia, I think. Yeah, he is really good.
Yeah,
he is a. He takes down top 25 teams on the regular.
Yeah, don't underestimate them.
That's right. All right, my straight pick is Penn State at UCLA. All right, Penn State coming off whiteout loss. They know they need to BTA these teams that they're supposed to.
Yes.
Now, they're going to UCLA. They're going on the road. It's a long road trip, but it's always going to be nice weather in LA.
And UCLA is terrible.
UCLA is terrible. It's a big point spread, so I didn't take making my cover.
Yeah.
But straight up, there's no way they lose this game, and they're going to crush UCLA because now they need to make a point again with all the voters, like the AP voters, and get higher ranked up in the top 25.
Yes, definitely.
All right, Birdie, dog pick. What's your dog pick?
My dog pick is I have Maryland plus 6.5 at home against Washington.
Wow.
I think I chose this game because again I think Maryland's going to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Washington has to travel from Washington all the way to Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Maryland is 4-0. Washington's 3-1, but their only loss is to Ohio State. But I just think this is Washington's first ever time traveling this far, just like Oregon last week. Maryland is a physical team this year. They have Malik. Their quarterback is his 5-star from last year, Malik Washington. He is a really good player. And I just don't know. I just think Maryland's just going to kind of, they're at home. They're 4-0. It's going to be lit there, and I just think Maryland is just going to out-physical them. It's definitely going to be a close game, but I just think at the very end, Maryland comes up with an upset at home.
Yeah, I am a little worried that Washington, they got really hyped up for Ohio State coming to town. They probably played lights out as best they could, and now you got to travel all the way across the country.
It's literally all the way across the country.
The only place farther is Miami, probably, or Jacksonville.
Miami or Boston College. That's in Maine or something like that.
Yeah, I know. So that's a long, long trip. Again, these coaches are already complaining about travel and stuff like that. I'm sure the coaches don't like it either.
Yeah.
They like sleeping in their own bed. So I can see it. I can see definitely Maryland making a good game out of it for sure.
Yes, definitely.
All right. My dog pick is Iowa State plus 1.5 at Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati, I think they are 4-0, but I don't think they've really played anybody tough, really.
Just really Kansas.
Yeah, but they did play, like Memphis or something like that.
Yeah.
But Iowa State's good. I mean,
they are good.
I couldn't believe that they're a dog in this game, 1.5 points.
Yeah.
So I will take Iowa State unless somebody's injured or something like that. I don't know. I'll take Iowa State.
It's just
plus 1.5 at Cincinnati. Cincinnati.
Cincinnati they've done good against the better Big 12 teams. They beat Kansas last week.
Yeah.
Last year, they upsetted like Kansas State or something like that. Or no, they gave ASU their only loss besides Texas Tech.
Oh yeah.
They upsetted Kansas State and they were close to. They kept the game close against Texas Tech. Remember that last year?
Yep.
So everyone's just saying that Cincinnati's good against these better teams in the Big 12. I think they're home, so that's why I think they're favored.
Yeah. Still though,
yeah.
I thought Iowa State
really
would have been favored in that one.
Definitely.
Okay. Now, all right. That's the recap of college football and our picks. Now let's move on to the NFL and a Week 4 recap. So, kind of one of the big topics I've been hearing a lot is there's been a lot of block kicks. And then the kickers are kicking 60-plus yard field goals regularly with a high percentage. Do you think this is good or bad for the game, Brody, that these NFL teams barely get to midfield and they can kick a field goal?
I think it's bad. I just don't know. It doesn't seem that fun. Like sometimes teams go for fourth down or something like that because their kicker can't kick that far. But now these defenses are such that they're such at a disadvantage because these teams can barely get to midfield and they can still kick field goals. Yeah. And I think the field goal percentage or like how many have been attempted have gone up, which has lowered all like the touchdowns and stuff. And it's just I think it's unfair towards these defenses because if you stop them at midfield, like that's a good drive. Yeah. But they still somehow get points because these kickers are really good. I just think that there's nothing you can do about their range. I just think maybe you make the field goals a little bit smaller, because you can't just make all these kickers like not kick that far. So I think maybe you make the rule where the field goal posts are a little bit smaller.
I think that there maybe needs to be,
or maybe like a rule where you can only get to how far before you can kick a field goal.
Yeah,
I think it's like 30-yard line.
I think that they're talking about how there's so many 60-yard field goals. There's more this year so far than like in any year before or something like that. Now, I think part of the reason that they're always going to be more longer field goals early in the year because of the good weather.
Yeah, definitely.
Like in Chicago and Buffalo later in the year, you ain't kicking the ball that far.
Definitely.
You know? But maybe there needs to be some sort of standardization. You know, even these teams that play in the domes, that hey, you can't have like. You got to kick this ball, or you can't. Yeah, you know, they got to do something with the footballs, maybe, or something like that. Yeah, so, but other than that, though, it's kind of tough because you could have a team make a comeback in the fourth quarter, and they get a touchdown, and they're up by 2 or 3, and it even feels like you leave the team 30 seconds on the clock. That they can easily get to midfield and go for a field goal
easily.
You know, especially now with the new kickoff.
Yeah,
it feels like everyone's starting at the 30-yard line.
Definitely.
And if you kick it out of bounds or you kick it in the end zone, they're coming out like to the 35 or something already. So it just seems, you know, it does seem, you know, a disadvantage. But I also think if you're kicking field goals, you're not winning too many football games. You got to score touchdowns.
Yeah, and
that's like the Cardinals' problem, right? You got to score touchdowns to win, not field goals, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So the other big topic is the Cleveland Browns benched Joe Flacco and named Dylan Gabriel the starter over Shedeur Sanders. Any thoughts on this, Brody?
I don't know. Dylan Gabriel older. They drafted him before Shedeur Sanders. Dylan Gabriel might be a more ready quarterback right now, I guess. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really know. They're both trash to me. I don't think it's going to make a difference if they went with Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel.
Well, the thing that I've been sort of hearing a little bit is that it seems like it's weird timing to bench Joe Flacco and bring in Dylan Gabriel.
They haven't even done that bad. All their losses have been close games.
They haven't done that bad, and the Browns are going to London or England or Europe somewhere to play the Vikings. Mm-hmm. And so your rookie quarterback, who's not a first rounder or second rounder,
third rounder,
is now his first start is in Europe on the road against the Vikings. Mm-hmm. It just seems some people are saying that maybe they're setting him up for failure so that it'll force the hand to play Shedeur at some point this season.
That's definitely not the case. But also, Dylan Gabriel's a left-handed quarterback, and he's like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah.
And how many quarterbacks do you see that are 5'9", 5'10", and left-handed quarterbacks good? None.
Yeah.
Tua's not that good. Kyler's not that good.
No.
Bryce Young's not that good.
Yeah, Russ, I think like
Russell Wilson's kind of like the only.
He's like 5'10". Drew Brees, I think, was 5'10".
Yeah, but like now, like the modern day,
yeah,
you don't really see much short quarterback, and especially short quarterback with a left hand arm.
Yeah.
Win too many games. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
So I don't know. It's just a lot of people are talking about it, so I thought I'd bring it up. Okay, and now let's talk the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals, our Arizona Cardinals, real quick. I have been highly critical of Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., and the Cardinals, I believe, have not played well this year. And
I think their defense has.
The defense has played good. I mean, the defense basically won the first 2 games for them.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is the first half of the season, we were supposed to dominate, and we haven't dominated. And the season's only going to get tougher as it goes along. And before the season started, we thought the Colts were going to be a walk in the park. They're not a walk in the park anymore now.
Nope.
So I don't know. I'm losing hopes on the Cardinals and having a winning season. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think we're either going to go 8-9 or 9-8. I think we need to show up against the Titans this game, and we need to dominate this game just to kind of, I don't know, get momentum back on our side and stuff. But I don't think the Cardinals have played that bad. I mean, every game in the NFL is tough. Everyone just thinks that if you play the Saints or Panthers, you should win by like 20 points. But it's still the NFL and stuff. And I think I don't like when people say the Cardinals have played bad because our defense has played really, really good.
Yeah.
Again, we're in 2025. Defense is a lot harder now. There's so many rules against the defense.
But also no James Conner.
Yeah, no James Conner, no Trey Benson.
Yeah.
But I'm not really that nervous or like scared. They named Michael Carter the starter over Emari Demercado.
Yeah.
Michael Carter's played plenty of games in the NFL. He was like a second round draft pick.
Yeah.
I'm not really that worried, especially against the Tennessee Titans, who are 0-4, just lost to the Texans by like 26 points.
Yeah, it was something like Michael Carter was playing for the Jets, and they got Breece Hall, and then he got out of there or something. So I don't know. I'm losing hope. I mean, I have not been impressed with Kyler Murray. I obviously haven't been impressed with Marvin Harrison Jr. We haven't even seen Walter Nolan yet.
No.
So I don't know. I'm losing hope.
Yeah. I don't know.
And we'll talk about it. Okay. So let's move on to our cover straight dog. And Brody, who's your cover pick?
My cover pick is I have the Lions minus 10.5 at the Bengals. The Lions are really good. Their offense is really good, and the Bengals are absolute trash. So I think the Lions are going to, even though they're at Cincinnati, I think they're just going to dominate this game because the Bengals are absolute trash.
Yeah. I've already been hearing Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, one of these quarterbacks could end up being the starter next week for the Bengals.
And the Bengals head coach might get fired.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor.
Okay, my cover pick, I am taking the Minnesota Vikings minus 3.5 versus the Browns in Europe somewhere. So this is the Vikings' second week in a row. So they played a Dublin game or something last week, and they stayed in Europe.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you, do you think they stayed in Europe?
They did stay in Europe. So they're already a little more acclimated to the time zone and everything, where the Browns coming in. Again, Dylan Gabriel, this is his first game.
First NFL game, and he's in Europe.
In Europe against the Vikings. Vikings have a pretty good defense. So I will take the Vikings minus 3.5 to cover that spread. I think they win this game by a touchdown or more.
Yeah.
All right, Brody, your straight pick.
My straight pick is I have the Ravens beating the Texans at home. The Ravens are 1-3. If they want to make the playoffs, they need to win this game. Both of them do, but the Ravens I think are a better team, and I just think that the Ravens, they know that they need to win this game. Lamar Jackson's not going to lose this game, and I just don't. I don't see a way that the Ravens start this year 1-4. I can't see a way.
I know. I thought about this game, but I heard that Lamar Jackson was sat out of practice or something like that. It could have just been a rest thing, just because maybe just give him a rest.
Yeah.
But if he is injured, I was like a little bit worried about that. But I mean, the Ravens are getting into panic mode, right?
Definitely.
And that's what I was thinking. I was thinking next week that'll probably be what we talk about is Okay, who is panicking at this point in the season, and who is sort of giving up?
Yeah.
All right, my straight pick. I am taking the Buffalo Bills versus the Patriots. I believe the Bills are at home, and the Patriots are not good. I know they've been playing better a little bit lately. That's because Drake May has basically been carrying this team.
Definitely.
But I don't see the Bills. They're sort of in a cruise control, but it's a division game. You don't want to lose these games at home. So I think the Buffalo Bills keep on rolling.
Definitely.
All right, Brody, your dog pick.
My dog picks, I have the Giants +2 at the Saints.
Mm-hmm. You don't believe in Spencer Rattler, huh?
Both the teams are bad. But even without Malik Neighbors, I think the Giants team is better, especially their defense is really good.
Yeah.
And if Jackson Dart plays the way that he's been playing in Cam Scadaboo, Brian Daboll's not really that bad of a coach and stuff. I think the other Giants can squeak out a win against the Saints.
Yeah, it does hurt that Malik Neighbors went down because you can see, you can almost kind of see a big three happening here.
Yes.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo, Malik Neighbors. You're kind of like, oh, hey, they might have something here for a long time.
Yeah.
So that does hurt that they won't kind of keep that little. They won't get to play together for this season.
Yeah.
But hopefully, next year, I might be high in the Giants next year.
And they have a really good defense.
Yeah, exactly. All right, my dog pick is the Tennessee Titans +7.5. Okay, let me explain, Brody. Brody,
are you going against your own team?
Brody's giving me a side eye here.
At home,
giving me a side eye here.
The Cardinals at home.
Okay,
that we're not losing this game, but the Cardinals are
not that bad. I'm not saying we're going to lose this game.
The Cardinals are not that bad, Dad. The Cardinals are not that bad.
Okay, the Cardinals every game this year they have either won or lost. It's been a one-score game.
Don't listen to him.
One-score game. Okay, Saints they won by 7. Then the next week they beat the Panthers by 5. Then they lost to the 49ers by 1. And then they lost at the field goal the last second against the Seahawks. They all been one-score games.
Bro, we cooked the Panthers. We cooked the Panthers.
5 points. They came back. They made it a one-score game. I
don't care, bro. The Panthers are trash.
That's not cooked. That's not cooked.
The Panthers are trash.
Well, they came back and made it a close game.
Yeah, with 5 minutes left on the clock.
One-score game. All right. So, again, what's the spread? 7.5 points. That's more than a one-score game, right? So, we're looking at that. Okay. And again, I've been listening to local sports talk radio. Everyone is overlooking this game. Everyone's like, oh, the Titans are 0-4, the worst team in the NFL. Everyone's already looking ahead to next week. They think this is going to be such a super easy game. And that's the one game that the Cardinals always blow. All right? That's the one game. So I'm not saying that maybe the Titans are going to win this game, but I think it's another one-score game. Cardinals win somewhere between 4 and 7 points, but it's a game. I think it's going to be a game, right? And
7 points?
6-7.
My bad.
But I think, again, everyone's like, Marvin Harrison Jr. is back because he made one catch in the end zone after 4 games and 3 quarters of terrible play. So let's talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. real quick.
Actually, he had 4 catches for 70 yards in the fourth quarter and a touchdown.
Okay, one quarter.
Okay.
Everything else is different. Okay. One thing I've noticed about Marvin Harrison Jr. is that when the bad catches, when he doesn't catch it, I don't know when no one points this out, is that he's trying to cradle the ball, and you can see that it's bouncing off his chest or bounce off his face.
He's been like that since college.
I know, but he's got to use his hands. How did he catch that ball when he made the touchdown?
With his hands.
He high-pointed, jumped up, and caught it with his goddamn hands, like Larry Fitzgerald used to do. So catch it with your hands. His dad should have told him this a long time ago.
Cam Ward's not scoring on our defense. Kyler Murray is just going to...
Kyler Murray's going to have 2 passes batted down, and he's going to throw an interception.
He's going to have 2...
But the other thing...
He's going to have 2 passes.
Then the other thing...
No.
The other thing, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Kyler Murray, I don't know whose fault it is, but it'll be like, again, Marvin Harrison Jr. is running down the field, and then Kyler Murray throws it like he's supposed to be doing a curl, and I'm like, who's miscommunicating or who's getting it wrong? I don't know.
It's called an opposite.
But it happens all the time. But they were supposedly worked together in the offseason so much that they're like brothers now, and they can read each other's minds, all this stuff. I haven't seen any of that.
Remember the last time the Cardinals played the Titans, and the Kyler Murray went crazy? That's going to happen again.
We'll see.
Trey McBride is going to have 200 receiving yards. Michael Carter is going to have 3 touchdowns. My bad. Okay, but
I'm just saying, Titans within one score.
Trey McBride is going
to cover the spread.
Trey McBride is going to cook this Titans defense, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to finally have a decent breakout game against L'Jarius Sneed, who is not even a good corner anymore. He needs to go back to Kansas City. And their offense, Cam Ward, even said that his own team is ass last week in a press conference.
Yeah.
And they're not going to win this game, and the Cardinals are going to win by 2 touchdowns.
No, you know what?
Two touchdowns.
The Titans are desperate to win. They're desperate to get a win. They don't want to keep losing.
It's going to be
trying to do everything they can. They're going to do onside kicks and fake punts and all this stuff.
It's going to be close.
They're going to do flea flickers and reverses, everything they can to get a win.
It's going to be close at halftime of the Cardinals, and then you're going to be like, see, look, I told you other Titans are going to win. And then the Cardinals are going to come out in the second half out physical.
No, I'm saying
physical the Titans
everyone
team.
thinks the Cardinals are just going to blow these dudes out of the water, and I don't think so. I think it's going to be a close game.
And the Cardinals are not going to lose in their black uniforms.
I think it's going to be a close game.
We're going to win by 2 touchdowns. I'm telling you right now. Watch.
We'll see.
Watch that.
We'll see.
Watch.
We'll see.
Watch.
I'm betting your college fund on the Titans to cover this spread. That's what I'm doing.
The Cardinals and Titans game is going to be the Cardinals are going to beat the Titans worse than the Texas Tech beats Houston. Actually, no. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
All right, everybody. That's the end of our show, and thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Say bye, Brody.
Bye. Cowboys fan.